Am I ready for day 2 at Garda? Probably not, but I do know there's a couple of game-changing bikes in there and a very interesting motor. Now I'm conscious that we're going to bring you some genuinely new bikes or interesting bikes which we've not seen before on today's show. Obviously we've seen the Flyer Uproc Evo X and the Uproc X previously with Bosch and Panasonic motors, but this is the all-new Uproc SLX from Flyer. Features the Bosch SX motor, 400 watt-hour battery, 29-inch wheels, 130mm travel front and rear. I think it's a lovely looking bike. Weighing in at 18 kilos, prices start at €5,800. Hey mister, can I get some stickers please?
Oh, back of the queue, Jonesy.
Oh, back of the queue.
Whatever your name is. Back of the queue.
Quick question, why on earth are you in Garda when Fort William World Cup's on?
Good question, and it's actually the first one I've missed probably since like 2001. But we needed to split up, someone had to come, and I was keen for it. Pretty cool to be here.
It's a lovely place, isn't it?
Yeah, beautiful, and you know, full of lovely Italian people that I've not met before, so slightly different to Fort William.
Quick one, Dolomites looked interesting a few weeks ago.
Yeah, Dolomites was a wild spot, only a couple hours up the road from here, and that film project was one of the most enjoyable ones I've done, but we've got some more big ones in the pipeline, so watch this space.
And I guess Italy's pretty close to your heart. You won the World Championships here in Val di Sole 2008 with Rachel.
In 2008, yeah, absolutely, just up the road, but Val di Sole's probably one of my favourite tracks, yeah.
Just a quick one to finish. Can we come up to Dovey and ride some e-bikes soon?
Yes, and I think it's about time we got some more e-bike tracks into Dovey, so if we give Dan Atherton a bit of a nudge, maybe he'll do something there.
Yes! Okay, see you later. Sorry, guys.
Cool.
Nathalie Schneitter's very special Trek rail. Nathalie was world e-mountain bike champion in 2019 and 2023. This bike is so special, I think it deserves a video by itself. So keep an eye on the channel for that in the next few weeks. I wonder what my head would feel like if I tried to do that. Right, something proper Italian. This is a company called Lombardo, which has been going since 1952, from a location called Trapani, which is to the west of Palermo in Sicily. Very nice looking bike, 29-inch wheels, a 625 watt-hour battery. It's got the Bosch CX race motor in this bike, weighs in at 24 kilos. A bit of Italian in terms of we've got the Pirelli tyres, we've got the Formula brakes, a bit of British in Renthal there. And of course, we've got a bit of Swedish Öhlins suspension, coil suspension front and rear. Yeah, Mavic wheels, so a bit of everything and a very smart looking bike. Now here's an interesting bike on so many levels, which I'm going to try and tackle. Now Orbea launched the all-new Rise a few days ago here at Garda and also internationally. Now the old Rise was launched, crikey, I think it must be 5 years ago now, with 150mm travel. It had a detuned Shimano EP8 motor on it at 60 newton meters with that down tube battery, which was, I do remember correctly, 600 watt hours. All new bike. It's now got more power, more travel, and it's got more battery range. There's two models in the range. They've got the Rise SL, which is 140mm travel front and rear, and also the Rise LT, which is 150 rear and 160mm up front. Now when we talk about the weight of e-mountain bikes, it's quite a generalization, because what you actually get, it all depends on what the component spec of that bike is. So for example, on this bike here, you've got a Minion, you've got an Asakai, tyres could make, a kilo or so difference between the weight of the bike. The great thing about Orbea bikes is it's very much dealer based. So what you do, you go online, you choose the configuration, the spec of your bike, and I don't think there's any bike company in the world that gives you as wide a range as component specs, options as Orbea does. So you order your bike online and you go and pick it up for your shop. So the shop covers all things such as warranty or any problems or upgrades you might need to do to your bike. So that's the first step. So the second step, as you'd imagine, is choose which Orbea Rise you're going to have. It's actually the same frame for both bikes. The only difference actually is in the shock yoke. So I'm guessing, in theory, you could actually have a 140mm travel bike, or if you had the shock yoke and the shock to go with it, because it's a different shock on it, with, I'm guessing there's going to be a different tuning on it as well, you could have either a 140mm trail bike, or you could have like turn the bike into a 150, 160mm travel enduro style bike. Central to the bike is that Shimano EP801 RS motor. Now the RS stands for the fact that Orbea have actually got their own tune, their own personality to this motor. The battery capacity has an impact on the power. Now this time we've got 85 Newton meters. Remember the older bike had as a D2 motor. Now you've got the full 85 Newton meter from the 801 motor. And this kind of begs the question is, if you've got a bike which is actually under 20 kilos, which this bike is, then why would you actually go for a bike with lower power? So it's a huge question and a big part of the decision making you guys need to do. There's two battery options. You've either got a 420 watt hour battery or a 630 watt hour battery. Now, you guys need to make that decision when you order your bike. So it's a fixed battery in the down tube. But not only that, you've actually got a 210 watt hour range extender. So if you think about it, you've now got an 840 watt hour bike which weighs not far off 20 kilos. I think that is a really good option for a lot of people. When you actually have got the range extender fitted to the bike, it does actually take a little bit of the power off. So you kind of ride in what's kind of a trail mode if you've got the range extender fitted. With the range extender out, you get the full EP801 power. Obviously with 801, you've got the option of free shift on there. The bikes haven't actually got auto shift because they decided to go for the different cassettes on the bike. Component specification, that's down to you. So this is the LT bike. Let's go and have a look at the SL bike, which is quite a different vibe to it. Now, if weight is something that concerns you, then maybe this SL bike could be for you. It's got a 420 watt hour battery, but weighs in at 16.1 kilos. Now, if you wanted to stick that 630 watt hour in the down tube, it's going to add about 800 grams to the bike. So, but I think what's key to this bike is the fact you've actually got good quality tyres on there. The bike's got a 34. The LT version, which we looked at earlier, has got a 36 on it. So lots to think about here with the Orbea bike. You know, you've got the weight situation. You've got a full power bike, which is under 20 kilos. Options of battery, options of travel. You know, 140 bike, you get a yoke for 150, 160. And also some really nice touches, actually, which I didn't talk about. All of the Orbea bikes come with this film, so that really gives the second-hand value of your bike an increase. A chainstay protector, you've got a tool which is located in the pivot here somewhere, so I'm told. And overall, a bike which the finish of the bike and the quality of the paintwork on this bike really is pretty special. So I think hats off to Orbea for being probably one of the standout bikes here from day 2 at Riva Del Garda.
Explain yourself. Explain yourself. Who are you? Who are you and where'd you come from?
Normally I'm a comedian. And sometimes I'm working for e-mountain bike magazine.
So I think this gentleman here called Manne Schmitt has probably ridden more e-mountain bikes than many people, correct?
Yes.
Always been very impressed with the Olympia bikes here at Riva Del Garda. We saw a fantastic one last year with the all-e motor, but we've got 3 new bikes to show you. I'm going to start off with this one, which is the Murdock. I mean, 820 watt hour battery, 180mm travel, 29-inch wheels, a 90 Newton meter motor from Polini with the EP3 Plus MX, and weighing in at 23 kilos. I mean, that is a fantastic option. Now, tell you a little bit about Olympia. They're from Padua, which is near Venice. But come and have a look at these other bikes here. Next up, we've got the Competizione, which is a slightly different frame design where it's got a split top tube here. All the bikes are full carbon fibre. Some really nice touches, really good component spec on it. I mean, the prices on these bikes start around €7,000. This time, this bike has got 29-inch wheels, 130mm travel, same motor, the Polini EP3 MX with 19 meters of torque. And again, this is Olympia's own design battery, 820 watt hours. I think it's pretty dinky, it's pretty neat in that down tube there. It's removable. And we've also got the Nitro, same split top tube design, this time 160mm travel. You've got a fantastic integrated Polini display there. And remember, Olympia still do the bike with the Ollie motor, the Ollie Edge, which also has 90 Newton meters. But I'm going to introduce you guys now to something very, very different indeed. And that special product is this. Yes, you're probably thinking, it's just another prototype bike with the fancy paintwork. But if you look closer at the motor area on this bike, it actually has a carbon fibre motor from e-Dynamic from a place just about an hour from Bologna. 110 newton meters, 620 watts peak power, and I'm actually now with Massimiliano. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Massimiliano, this is your company, e-Dynamic.
Yeah.
What's the plans for the motor? Obviously, this is just for show purposes, right? Having the motor in here.
Yeah, actually, it will be present on Olympia bikes for a next furniture, hopefully in 2025. But we are still developing the commercial parts, and actually we have. Put it on a bike, on a Murdock for a prototype, just for the fair, and we are testing it on Olympia bikes at the moment.
So this motor then, 2.85 kilos, all built in Italy?
Yes, all built in Italy, both the motor and the display that is actually from our supplier, and also the case of the display is fully made of carbon, SMC.
Can you tell us a little bit of about the history about e-Dynamic?
Yeah, so eDynamic is a startup that was born in 2019, and then we have developed the motor starting from aluminum cases, and then we passed to carbon forged for this ADC one.
From the south of Bohemia, got a Leader Fox. Now, many, like I mentioned earlier, some of you guys have been asking about e-mounted bikes with racks and mudguards. Here is one such bike. It's actually got 4-inch tyres on it with a side stand, and central to this bike is actually the Panasonic GX Ultimate motor, which has got 95 newton meters of torque. It's one of the most powerful motors on the market. Hopefully we'll get hands on a Panasonic GX bike very soon. We rode it on a flyer a couple of years ago. Very impressed with it, the power delivery, the modes. Also on this bike, an 836 watt hour battery. And possibly more importantly is the price, €3,900 for this long-range, high-powered e-mounted bike from south of Bohemia. Nice one, Leader Fox. Corratec RS 140 EL. Now this isn't technically a new bike. It was launched last September, but it's actually only just becoming available on the market in May. The point of difference with this bike, I think, it's an SX bike with a 400 watt hour battery. However, it's got a removable 400 watt hour battery, and I think that's really cool for several reasons. I think the first reason is if you're traveling to a hotel or something like that, you can take the battery out rather than take the bike in the hotel room. But more than that is you don't actually have to rely on a range extender. You can actually carry an extra 400 watt hour battery in your backpack. It's going to weigh like, I don't know, probably around about 2 kilos. A 250 watt hour range extender battery is going to be not far off that anyway. So you've got an 800 watt hour range bike there, which is, I think, a really good solution. So yeah, top work Corratec for being a bit different. Now a highlight for me every year at Riva Del Garda is coming to see Igor at OMKAFE for a fantastic espresso. Igor, how's things?
Igor, OMKAFE, Riva Del Garda.
Thing with Italy, I mean, faultless espressos. Why can't any other country do that? I think we're doing pretty well, bringing you guys some legit new bikes or interesting bikes from Riva Del Garda. MMR, machines made for racing, from Asturias in northern Spain. This is a 29-inch wheel Bosch SX bike, weighing in at 17 kilos. So, you know, like we saw on the Orbea earlier, you've got we've got a mid-assist bike which is 17 kilos. You can have a full power bike, which is also now, you know, that SL Orbea was, what was it? It was 16.1, wasn't it, with a 420 watt hour battery. This has got a 400 watt hour battery in it. But I actually think these mid-assist bikes are great bikes in themselves. It depends on the type of riding you're doing. So I think we should just remove the whole weight thing from the equation. So this bike, £10,000 in this spec. You've got Kashima, 140mm travel. Great looking bike from Spain. Great thing about coming to a festival is you can get to test no end of bikes, different motors, different batteries, different models, different suspension travel. I mean, look at the queue here at Cube, queuing up to get a test ride. Oh, hold on a minute, I've just seen it. Maybe they might be queuing up for beer. It's a quick one. One of you guys asked us to show e-mountain bikes with panniers and mudguards. So here's Cube's new road bike there with the Bosch SX motor. But I think for most EMBN viewers, I think it's the 144. Cube bikes in general, great geometry, great component spec, and fantastic prices. I mean, this is a top-end bike here for €6,499. 144 follows on from the great 155. Did a video recently with Pete Collard from the E-Bike Motor Centre in the UK, and what Pete basically said is that the bearings on a lot of e-mountain bike motors are very poor. If you upgrade the bearings, you get a motor which is going to last a lot longer. I was just about to walk off CeramicSpeed stand, and I saw this custom bearing, and it's pretty durable, you say?
Yeah, for sure. With our industry customers, we guarantee between 4 and 8 times lifetime compared to whatever they're using. So we're actually on the hook for if the bearing wears out before that claim, then we have to do a replacement, which is quite costly for some of our industry partners.
Is this bearing out of a legit piece of machinery?
Yeah. This one's coming out of the Arla, which is a big dairy company down the road from us in Denmark. This one's coming out of a butter machine. And if that thing turns down, then there's no butter in Denmark.
So basically what you're saying is a bearing such as this could have an application in an e-mountain bike motor, possibly?
Yeah, time will tell, but just tell your brands to give us a ring.
Okay, will do. I'm sure they're watching. Well, thanks everyone. Skateboarder. Actually, before I go into a roundup, big thanks to Louis behind the camera, who's now going to go off to edit this video. Thank you. Yeah, I think we covered it, guys. I think we got some genuinely new product in there. We've got some new bikes. I think it's going to be interesting, as I mentioned earlier, to see where the e-dynamic motor, the carbon motor, goes from Italy. But I think the biggest story definitely is the new Orbea Rise. You know, battery options. You've got the different power motor. You've got the configuration of your bike. I think that is food for thought for sure. So thanks for joining us from Garda, and we'll see you in finale.